Joining me now with reaction, Robert Ray, former Whitewater independent counsel, and delighted he's with us. Robert.
Good evening.
It's good to see you. The Democrats, you get this clear sense, and it just struck me today that this is a lot like what happened with Kavanaugh.
Yeah, it's the politics of desperation, no shame, and, ad hominem attacks. The only place left to go, of course, is now to impugn the integrity of Bill Barr. They have also tried it with Rod Rosenstein on his way out the door, and it will continue, and I think you are correct. It will get particularly pointed and more heated once Bill Barr does what he said he was committed to doing, and that is following up on the release of the IG's report, Michael Horowitz, and eventually and finally going inside the Obama Justice Department, because it's clear he's headed there, as well as Jim Comey's tenure at the FBI.
Well, a new Politico headline neatly captures this moment. It says, Democrats channel their Trump outrage on Barr. And there was no better example of that than Speaker Pelosi.
He lied to Congress. As the Attorney General of the United States of America was not telling the truth to the Congress of the United States. That's a crime.
Well, Barr did not actually lie, and she and her entire caucus know it. Robert, your thoughts on Pelosi's smear? Where specifically is she wrong here?
Well, she's not even specifying what she thinks is the lie. I mean, it's a serious charge. You're talking about, as you know, false statements to Congress or perjury, which would be a crime. But, look, I kind of tend to agree, if to just keep this simple. Ted Cruz was right. Really, what the Democrats are about here is they don't like the answers that they got. And the only thing that was withheld from the American people was the space of 3 weeks when the Attorney General controlled the narrative before the release of the redacted Mueller report. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. And the notion that we're now going to yet again try to criminalize one more thing where, Democrats don't get their way. So the only resort they have, which is like, how many times do you have to ring the bell before a cry wolf, before people finally conclude they really don't know what they're talking about.
So, I mean, the whole thing, Robert, the whole thing is that when Barr testified on April 10th, he was asked, do you think Mueller disagreed with your conclusions?
Right.
That conclusion on obstruction. That's what
right.
I mean,
that was the central piece of it. And they completely ignored that. And I think to this day, from what it sounds like, as I reviewed the testimony, to this day, I don't think Attorney General Barr, to this day, meaning today, knows whether or not Bob Mueller agrees with his determination relative to the fact that there was insufficient evidence to prosecute the obstruction portion of the investigation.
But in that phone call, the phone calls they had, where they're like, well, give us your notes. He asked Mueller, are you talking about the conclusions? And Mueller said, well, he was focused on the media reaction, that they kind of got the context wrong. So it's defamatory. Let's just be very clear to the American public last night. The smear of one of the most brilliant legal minds in the United States with utmost integrity, Bill Barr, is one of the lowest moments of this U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee. And I've seen a lot. Okay, I went back I clerked for Justice Thomas. I saw what they tried to do to him. Okay, then and what they did to all these other great nominees along the way. This was disgusting, but as I said in the angle, not at all surprising, given where
not at all surprising. And when you look at it, I mean, in order to try to make the claim, they do obviously things that, frankly, are beyond the pale, like selectively parse and edit from the Attorney General's answer. And once you do that, what credibility really do you have with the American people when you're trying to make an argument from really nothing that the Attorney General of the United States has committed a crime? I mean, are you kidding?
Now, this is all about trying to smear Barr before that IG report comes out and his new findings about how this whole thing started with the deep state. All right, I want to get this other piece.